What's good, y'all? So as I'm sure y'all have heard, the Warriors traded for Dennis Schroder. So from my initial reaction, this was an amazing trade. For those of y'all that tuned into my last video, I said my preference is for the Warriors to trade for Dennis Schroder, and that's what they did. Players averaging 18 points per game, 5 assists, while shooting at least 45% from the field, 38% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Darius Garland, Brandon Ingram, Tyler Hero, Steph Curry, and Dennis Schroder. Dennis Schroder is one of 7 players averaging those stats, and the Warriors got 2 of them now. Here's a quote from Anthony Slater in his recent article. Schroder is expected to step into a large role in the Warriors backcourt. He's an extra scorer and pick and roll ball handler who should be able to run some offense while Steph Curry is off the court, yet also fit next to Curry in certain lineups. The Warriors believe, because of his pesky defense, Schroder's arrival will likely lessen the minutes total for Brandon Pajemski and Buddy Hield, among others. So look, check this out. Dennis Schroder is a huge upgrade. Brandon Pajemski is not having a good season at all. His numbers and impact is way down from his rookie season. The Warriors were banking on him taking a leap, and he's actually regressed. When you combine that with the Melton injury, something had to be done in the backcourt. With that being said, let's dive into Dennis Schroder's offensive impact for the Warriors. So Dennis Schroder is averaging 18 points per game for the season. So the Warriors are basically bringing in a player that averages more points than anyone on the team outside of Steph Curry. Schroder's having a better offensive season than Kuminga and Wiggins. So let's peep these stats real quick. Dennis is shooting 39% from 3 on 6.5 3-point attempts per game with 59% true shooting. 6.5 attempts per game is pretty good volume, and 39% is pretty efficient. And 59% true shooting on a Brooklyn Nets team that's not very talented. That's actually really surprising to me. Schroder comes in and he's automatically the Warriors' second best player at getting to the rim and having the ability to consistently break the paint. He's now the Warriors' second best player collapsing the defense. He's averaging 6.5 assists per game to 2.5 turnovers per game. So roughly a 2.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio, which is pretty good. When you consider the fact that he's one of the quickest players in the league and he's shooting 39% from 3 on 6.5 attempts per game. That makes him a dynamic pick and roll threat, something the Warriors don't have outside of Steph Curry. So now they finally have a second guy that can threaten defenses out of the pick and roll. Schroder is going to put defenders in a compromised position because his first step is so quick, you have to go under the screen. And if you go under the screen, he's shooting 39% from 3 this season. He's going to make you pay. After he hits a few threes and defense decides to come up, well, now he's going to blow right past you. Schroder has one of the quickest first steps in the league, and he's extremely quick twitch in terms of stop and go. He can even pull up for the midi, and his floater isn't bad. Schroder is tough to deal with, man. And I think his presence offensively is going to be extremely beneficial for this Warriors roster, especially for Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and TJD. Steph goes without saying. When Dennis breaks the paint and gets to that driving kick game, Steph's the best shooter of all time. In terms of JK, Wiggs, and TJD, those are all athletic play finishers. When Schroder's getting downhill, be on the lookout for them coming to the basket, where Schroder's also a really good lob thrower. I think he's going to help TJD a lot. TJD's struggling to finish layups, but if Schroder's drawing to help defense and throwing a lob on a silver platter for TJD, all he has to do is dunk it. Even though the Warriors have been struggling since the Melton injury, they're still a top 4 defense. Their main priority was getting a shot creator, and that's what Dennis Schroder provides. He's a shot creator that's going to easily lead the Warriors in drives per game. Just having somebody else outside of Steph Curry that can consistently get to the rim and generate shots for other people, or finish himself, that's huge, man. Dennis Schroder isn't a star offensive player, but as we see, he's a capable scorer. He's literally been one of the better guards in the East this season. All right, let's talk about defense. So Dennis Schroder's around 6'1", but he has a 6'8" wingspan to go along with a pesky, hard-nosed, scrappy defensive mindset. While those things don't completely make up for his lack of size, it does close the gap tremendously. Even at age 31, Schroder has the ability and the willingness to pick up 94 feet and hound ball handlers. His 6'8" wingspan is extremely disruptive for ball handlers. You'll see him get a lot of deflections and a decent amount of pickpockets. He's also a really good screen navigator. That's one of the better players in the league that's staying attached to ball handlers and pick and roll defense. I mean, if you ask Steph Curry, like, yo, who's some of the most annoying players to guard you? He'll probably say Avery Bradley back in the day, and he'll say Dennis Schroder. Schroder's annoying defensively, bro. He be slithering through screens like a ghost, bro. It's crazy. And even if he does get partially caught on the screen, that 6'8" wingspan allows him to close the gap and get a decent contest in. In terms of the kind of matchups he thrives in, he's not great on bigger, stronger guards. At the end of the day, he is a slim dude. I think he's listed around 165 or 175, but he thrives against quicker guards because he can match their athleticism and quickness. Man, just talking about it got me more excited. I can't stress this enough. This was a really good move. And the price, yo, the Warriors low-key finesse, bro. Money Mike is cooking, bro. He turned an injured Melton into not just a replacement, but an upgrade without giving him a first-round pick or a rotation player. With Schroder coming off the bench, he's automatically the best backup point guard in the league. Peyton Pritchard might have something to say about that, but I don't care, bro. I'm rocking with Schroder. And the benefit of that is that it allows the Warriors to keep Steph's minutes down. And not just that, it gives the Warriors comfortability, giving Steph more rest nights when needed. Steph's a soon-to-be 37-year-old man dealing with knee tendonitis. He's gonna need his rest nights. This move will allow the Warriors to keep Steph fresh for a playoff run without the team falling apart without him. When Steph misses games, and obviously you can't replace Steph. He's one of the best players in the league, and he's one of one in terms of his unique impact for a team. But having a two-way, 18-point per game backup point guard coming in and replace him ain't too bad though. This move also greatly reduces Pa's role and allows him to go back to playing shooting guard primarily. GP2 and Buddy's minutes are also going to take a hit. You could pencil in Dennis Schroder for at least 27 to 30 minutes per game. Warriors fans, if you're not a fan of two-guard lineups, be prepared because Schroder's going to close a lot of games. His two-way ability and his ability to break the paint is going to be vital for this Warriors offense. All these late-game meltdowns are because the Warriors offense has struggled. Schroder should be a remedy to those problems. Defensively, he should be able to survive against most matchups. Not all, but most. And if you're playing against an opponent that requires a bigger lineup, then that's what you do. But having Schroder as a closing option is only beneficial. We can see nights where it's Steph, Schroder, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Draymond. We can also see nights where it's Steph, Schroder, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, whatever the case may be. But Schroder is definitely one of the Warriors' 5 best players now. So he's going to be on the court next to Steph a lot. So apparently, the Warriors have the opportunity to expand this trade into a bigger construct and get Cam Johnson as well as Dennis Schroder. But after extensive talks, the Warriors declined because they didn't want to include Jonathan Kuminga, deciding to focus on just getting Dennis Schroder back. Here's a few quotes from reporters for extra context. Brett Siegel said going out and getting Dennis Schroder is not the only move Golden State will be making. This is a move that was needed and allows him to figure out the rest. He also said, I would like to point this out and make it clear that Cam Johnson is not out of the picture for the Warriors, although getting Schroder complicates things financially. Expect Johnson's market to be quiet before teams pick up interest in him closer to the trade deadline. And this is from Anthony Slater. The Warriors move doesn't preclude the Warriors from taking a larger trade swing at the February trade deadline. His $13 million salary can be aggregated into another deal if needed, and their ability to acquire Schroder without giving up a future first-round pick keeps their asset chest robust. So before some of y'all get mad that the Warriors didn't include Kuminga for Cam Johnson, all the reports are indicating that it doesn't mean they're out of the running for Cam Johnson. The Cam Johnson move seems to be more of a move you make at the trade deadline because the Nets probably value him very highly. Probably too high. So once it gets closer to the trade deadline and they get more feedback from teams and realize they have to lower their asking price, the Warriors can circle back and possibly try to get him without giving him Kuminga. Or if the asking price is still Kuminga or nothing, the Warriors at least have 2 months of additional data on Kuminga and the rest of the roster before deciding if that's the move they need to make. If there's a way to possibly get Cam Johnson without giving him Kuminga, I think they want to explore that. What I like about this move is that it gives them a 2-month evaluation with Dennis Schroder in the mix to see what else they're missing. Maybe they decide Cam Johnson's that missing piece. Maybe they decide it's Dorian Finney-Smith. But like I said in my last video, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. I said out of Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Cam Johnson, and Dennis Schroder, my favorite move and my preference would be Dennis Schroder. But I also said with Schroder, they would have to make an additional move to address the front court, possibly a stretch big. And if the asking price for Cam Johnson is too much, there's a few other options on the table. Looking at more actual big man versus Cam Johnson, who's more of a wing, the options are Nikola Vucevic, Miles Turner, and Kelly Olynyk. Out of those three, Miles Turner is the best player because he's a two-way center. He's a solid defender and shot blocker, while Vucevic and Kelly Olynyk are not good defensive players. Miles Turner has a better chance to stay on the court in the playoffs because of his two-way ability, while Vucevic and Kelly Olynyk will be way more matchup-based, and they probably won't close a lot of games. Kelly Olynyk for sure won't be closing. The Pacers are struggling, but I still don't see him trading Turner. But they've had his name in trade rumors for years, so maybe this is the year they actually pull the trigger. While it's possible, I don't think it's likely, which leaves Vucevic and Kelly Olynyk. The Bulls are reportedly looking for at least a first-round pick for Vucevic, which I think is a fair price. He's been playing really well. I mean, he's a 20-point-per-game stretch 5. Even though he's not a good defender, those players are extremely rare. I think Vuce can help the Warriors in a lot of ways. He's still a good rebounder. He still has size at 6'10", and his stretch 5 ability, along with Dennis Schroder, will unlock Kuminga in my opinion. Vucevic isn't a perfect player, but the Warriors have a top 4 defense, and they just added Dennis Schroder, another good defender. So yeah, man, overall, I'm loving this trade. I don't think the Warriors are done. They're definitely going to make another move. This is just a precursor for what's to come. The Warriors were already a nasty team for Melton, and the Warriors are still a top 4 defense. And if they make one more move to address the front court, I don't know, bruh. The Warriors might be able to win the chip this year, but an additional move is definitely needed. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all, man. If I entertained you or you learned something new, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Also, I just started a membership, so if you want to join that, that'd be cool too. And follow me on Instagram while you're at it. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.